Stewardship with SNB.
What do you do on a Thursday afternoon? Having lunch? Taking a drink? Watching TV in your living room or office? How much do you know about the politics, economy, and how monies are being expended by those saddled with the responsibility of managing human, material, and natural resources? It's daring, incisive, revealing, and informative. Watch Stewardship with SNB every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. on RSTV. Join us.
Stewardship with SNB.
Hello, it's a new year and fresh results. It's the 3rd day of January 2019 and the first edition of the program Stewardship with SNB. And of course, my guests are also very fresh in the house. But before we begin the program, we will, as usual, have SNB's take. Governor OKEY, in his declaration to seek a re-election for 2019, cited the support of youths from the 23 local government areas as the principal reason for his declaration. The governor also acknowledged the endorsements from women, elders, ethnic nationalities, and non-indigenous from the 23 local government areas. As the clock ticks away to the election date, what the governor and many and other watchers are expecting is for these support groups to keep faith with their promise to re-elect Governor OKEY for a second term. On the other hand, the people too are of high hopes that the governor will do greater than what they have seen in the outgoing tenure. The theme of today's discourse is 2019, Politics Come Econometrics of Governance. Joining me in the live studio to do justice to the theme of today's program are two gentlemen who are professionals in their own chosen endeavors. First is the Director, University of Port Harcourt Business School, a member, Governing Council, University of Port Harcourt, former head, Department of Economics, University of Port Harcourt, Chairman, Board of Rivers State Bureau of Public Procurement, former advisor to former Governor Omehia on government policy, program, and strategy. He is also a specialist in econometrics, economic theory, and policy, and of course, strategy. Professor ONUCHUKWU, a member of the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State, who doubles as a member of the PDP State Campaign Council. Also with me in the studio is a fellow of Chartered Institutes of Management, Principal Solicitor OSIMA GINAH and Co., Pioneer Commissioner for Urban Development, Rivers State. He is also a serving commissioner at the Rivers State Judicial Service Commission, and now Director, Legal Services, People's Democratic Party State Campaign Council, Rivers State, Barrister OSIMA GINAH. We'll take a short break and then come back to the live studio for the usual conversation. Join us again.
SNB holds you to account.
Whether you're in school or not, any opportunity we create for skill acquisition, please avail yourself that opportunity. Like I said, you can
also around that, you know that they have what is called bush market. Very early in the morning, as early as 4 o'clock, down the road.
I'm a lawyer. Let me show me. The man has not cited one project, consultancy project, from that 1990.
They are there.
Today.
I'm saying they are not much. They are very element. I don't want to join issue with my brother.
Watch Stewardship with SNB whenever, wherever, however, this time on RSTV. Stewardship with SNB.
He said because the 2019 appropriation bill has set priorities for human capital development and infrastructural provision, a substantial part of the capital budget is allocated to the Ministries of Agriculture, Education, Employment Generation and Empowerment, Health, Sports Development, Women Affairs, Works and Youth Development. The governor proposed 72 billion naira for the construction and improvement of the state's road network and transport infrastructure.
sectoral allocation of the capital budget. The sectoral allocation of the capital budget is as follows. Administration sector, 17 billion 820 million 704,443 naira 79 kobo. Economic sector, 99 billion 53 million 565,640 naira 20 kobo. Law and justice sector, 4 billion 350 million naira. Social sector, 127 billion 292 million 200,000 naira. Special heads, 50 billion 347 million 500,000 naira. Loan repayments, 24 billion 425 million naira.
Stewardship with SNB.
Well, once again, welcome back to the live studios of Riverside Television, Channel 22, Port Harcourt, and the program is Stewardship with SNB here in the studios. Once again, I have with me OKEY ONUCHUKWU, Director, Uniport Business School. Professor, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, sir.
And again, I have Barrister OSIMA, GINAH, who does not need any introduction. He was the Pioneer Commissioner for Urban Development, and now Director, Legal Services, PDP Campaign Council. Barrister OSIMA, GINAH, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
To join the conversation, call the number 080-3341-3360. Again, 080-3341-3360, or send text messages only to the number 080-5347-8400. You can watch us live on GoTV channel 103 and StarTime channel 113. You can also watch our previous editions of the program on YouTube at Stewardship with SNB. Join our social media platforms on Facebook and Twitter, still at Stewardship with SNB. My name is Solomon Nelson Braid. I'm signing on this program this afternoon. Gentlemen, we listened to the governor in his presentation to the State House of Assembly, the budget 2019. Now, the budget of Rivers State has certain deliverables. Which of them do you think is achievable within the first 2 quarters of the year? We're aware that the agri sector had the highest money earmarked to it. Over 17 billion naira was earmarked to the agri sector. Professor Okechukwu, you are an economist first. Let me start with you. Okay. Yes, there are deliverables attached to the budget. Which of them do you think is achievable within the first 2 quarters of the year? Professor Okechukwu.
Okay, generally looking at the budget, let me start by saying that the governor, in presenting the budget where the capital component is usually higher than the recurrent component, is to show commitment for development. Because in the first place, last year we had about 70% for capital project, but this year it has declined about 65% It's showing that the capital component is higher than the recurrent component, and that shows commitment for development, because it's the capital component that actually will drive growth in the system. You recall that for every particular year there is a kind of priority in government, and that when Governor Wike started, there was a lot of massive infrastructural development, and that more concentration was given to road infrastructure to open up the state, to enable investors to come in, and then those that are domestic to have free movement, both of goods and human beings. So this particular year, agric is getting that much because you also want to develop agric in order to generate the necessary, not only employment for the people, in order to provide the necessary product for industrialization, because we have provided infrastructure. The next stage now is to industrially develop River State, and one basic thing to industrially develop River State is to make sure that the product is available. And the industrial, sector uses the product from the agricultural sector. So giving that to agricultural sector is to give boost to agricultural sector in order to produce, more products that will be used in the industrial sector. So I think the governor is taking it, step by step to ensure that every sector is developed.
The agri sector is most likely achievable.
Yeah, it's most likely as well. Yeah, most likely as well. Because you know that we have wide arable lands all over. if you look at from the community where I come from, Emma was mining to Ahoda, vast land. The Ogoni area, vast land. If you talk about the Eche area, vast land. Even the Calabar region, fishery also go on. You understand, although oil activity has taken over some of the aquatic life. But, with, more funds into that particular sector, we can, really activate some of, the implements we used to use before and even acquire new ones that will make, life better in that particular sector. So I'm thinking that, with a good driver in the seat, what I mean by good driver in the seat, that's in that particular ministry, yes. Have a good commissioner on seat. There are so many things to be done in the agricultural sector.
Okay, let's hear from Barrister OSIMA GINAH. You heard Professor ONUCHUKWU rather, that it is likely that the agri sector is most likely achievable within the first 2 quarters of the year. Do you subscribe to that view? Yeah, because there are other deliverables like, apart from the agri sector, we have education, we have the health, we have sports and other sectors that the governor talked about. Which of them is likely to be achieved within the first 2 quarters, in your opinion?
Well, I think that education, because the governor has invested so much in education. For the first time, we have the River State University, have a teaching hospital, BMH, and in the River State University, there is infrastructural development to that effect. I think this year you started admitting students in that respect. So it's achievable. The agriculture sector too, it is achievable because already there are existing infrastructures. So what you need now is to put in funds. And like the PROF stated, if you have a good driver, you put in funds, you will achieve result. So it is achievable. And these are things that is achievable. And knowing the driver on the seat in the state is one man who work and monitor those who work with him. Now, it's a budget. A budget is a proposal. Yeah. The fund is not there yet, and the fund comes monthly. It comes monthly, internally generated fund, and then what we expect from the federation account. But I believe that as the money comes, while the governor will pay salary, pay retirees, they will also put in money in these areas to achieve the desired result.
Yeah, and so then, let me also, come in where, someone has said something. You see, the governor and his team is also looking at what have been done in the past. You know that when this president administration came in, they had a blueprint, and that blueprint, which is tied with new River State, new vision, new thinking, and better opportunity. Actually, was to be driven by massive infrastructure development. Apart from that, education and then health. So there will be more concentration in these, sectors. If you look at it very well, if you read that blueprint very well, you'll find out that one major, recommendation from those who actually put down the blueprint, I was a member of that committee, was that all road projects that have been started by past administration should be completed, and then new ones should be constructed to open up, River State, and which the governor had done. Then you also look at, the governor also had the intention of bringing back boarding house into secondary school system. And from there, we agreed that, look, let us take 3 secondary schools in the 3 senatorial districts and use them as pilot study. From River Southeast, the BARR Memorial Grammar School was taken. If you go there now, that school, there's a massive transformation of that school and ready for that kind of a boarding house system. Then in the Rivers East, the Rumukuta girls taken in Port Harcourt. If you also pass through Rumukuta or enter that school, you will see massive infrastructure development in that school. Then you talk about the New Morning Grammar School in the Rivers, West. You find out that that school too has also been transformed, and so many other secondary schools have been renovated. So that was the initial idea. So the government has achieved that. So that's why it's pulling away to some other sector. And then in the health sector, we look at it and say that when people are sick in the rural area, they are brought to Birabi Memorial Hospital straight. You see, there is this linkage between the primary health care, the secondary, and the tertiary. So our general hospital were neglected completely. So before now. Yes, before now. So in the blueprint, it was also recommended that the governor should try with his team to to see how they can renovate, most of these, hospitals. And you find out that if you go to our LGs, most of, the general hospitals have been renovated and they are working. So you see, that has been achieved in education and the health sector. A lot of massive, infrastructure development in this sector. So the government is moving away. That has also created jobs in those areas. Yeah. Because when you're doing that, you're creating direct jobs, and you're also going to create indirect jobs, and so on and so forth. You also note that in the the hospital is BM, we call it BMH. You see the doctors' quarter were rebuilt and all that to give incentive for doctors to stay and provide good health care. So you see, all those things have generated jobs. So the budget, this permanent budget, is now moving focus. Not that the other sectors will be neglected. It's now moving focus to agricultural sector. You know that has been the mainstay of the Nigerian economy before the discovery of oil. So we want to make sure that that particular sector is actually activated and brought back to work, so that it will create the necessary work.
Turn the river's economy to an agrarian
economy. Not just agrarian economy, because when you're doing agri, you just move beyond that to agro-allied. Yeah. Because you don't just produce the product and sell. The economy will not be viable. It's only when you add value, that is, transform one thing to the other, that you add value. Take, for instance, if you produce plantain and you sell them in bunches, you won't make as much profit as when you transform them into plantain flowers. Are you getting what I'm saying? So what we're saying is that agriculture, we're not going to just stop in producing the product, but make them agro-allied so that they can industrialize.
Now, given the fact that this is an election year, how much performance should Rivers expect from the budget? The first quarter consists of January, February, March. Of course, we have campaigns and elections coming up. And the second quarter will be perhaps getting ready to take over power and all of that. So how much performance are we expecting from the budget, given the fact that it's an election year? First,
okay, well, if you look at the budget, there are these components of continuing with some uncompleted projects. Very few new projects are in that budget. Take, for instance, in Assato local government area, you have the Tema Ifoko Road. It has already been awarded. So,
that's your LD.
Yes, it has been awarded. You have it is the completion of that road, and it's given 1 year period. Now you also have Abalama Sandfield, the completion of that project. In fact, that Sandfield is about 90% completed. Okay. Now you have the Kola Sandfield project, which has also been awarded. Now you have the Bakana Sandfield project. You have the Abonima Ring Road project. Now these are projects that some are already ongoing and some will start soonest, even before the election. And so given the time limit and the governor that we know, election never distracting. Election or no election. And because one, Rivers people have decided that we are going to return him. Yeah. It is not himself. So it is not his own himself that will go and work. It is we, the Rivers people, that will work. The youths are there. In fact, he has created over 80,000 jobs in this state. For those who don't know. Now he created jobs to the units in every community. There are people who are working and who are in the payroll of the River State government. And those people also have their dependents, they have their brothers and sisters, and they are ready to say, this governor, we have to return him. It has never been so good in River State before. So within the first quarter, I believe that most of these projects either completed or they have taken off to a reasonable extent. So it will not distract the governor, and I think there will be a good performance of the budget.
Let me also give some evidence on that. You see, you recall that
the question is how much performance.
Yes, when we had,
given the fact that it's an election year.
Yeah, we like what is said. I believe in that statement that the elections don't really disturb the governor's performance. If you recall, when we had a renewal election in the state severally, the governor was still working, because he had confidence that the people are behind him, and the governor, continued to work and make sure that he deliver to the promises to the people. So now the budget, the way it is, this budget is a year, it's an annual thing. It's an annual thing.
Yes.
It's not that between now and me it's going to stop, because for me, I don't believe that the governor will stop by me. No. The governor is going to continue. So as a result of that, we'll begin to evaluate, the actual performance of the budget towards, the end of the year. But between now and then, I know that with the way Governor OKEY works, he's going to achieve, barely well over 40 to 45% before, that May period, which you are even, giving us a target. But I believe that the governor is going to continue, and this is a budget that is going to run, for the whole year. So one major thing you should note here is that elections never disturb our governor. We had senatorial run here for over how many times? Elections were cancelled, court, and all our elections had to come back for election. But still then, the governor was busy, working. Each time he drops down from Abuja or anywhere, even from overseas travel, he moves down to the site to look at what the people are doing.
Professor ONUCHUKWU, I'm going to ask you this question after Pastor OSIMA GINAH must have answered. Now, despite the fact that Rivers State is the economic nerve center of the country, differences in wages and wealth distribution has never been equal. Now, it has made people live below poverty level. Now, do you think that this budget can actually address this issue of people living below poverty level in Rivers State?
Well, and that is, to me, is relative. Because when you say people living below poverty level, in Rivers State, the living standard has improved drastically since the Governor OKEY came on board. Now, the reason is because he has created so much jobs. The massive road construction, every road construction has local content. And this local content means that the localities where these roads are being constructed, the people must be engaged, they must be employed. Now they will do skilled and non-skilled services. And that improves, it put food on the table, their families, they can take care of their children's school fees. Now, before now, you hardly find that. Now, governor has done that. And you know that when you say poverty, if I have 1 naira and you have 2 naira, it doesn't mean that because I have 1 naira, I'm poor. You have 2 naira, you are poor. For a politician, just like me, if I'm paid 500,000 naira, if you give 500,000 naira to somebody in the village, the person is a rich man. But with 500,000 naira, I'm not a rich man. So poverty, if you don't...
Somebody who has 500 naira and is seen to be rich is relative too.
Yeah, that's why I said poverty of living below the poverty line is relative. It's relative.
Okay, let me come in here, to look at some of these things with basic statistics. Anybody that comes out to tell you that Rivers State is among the poorest states in the country, they just want to exaggerate issues. If you look at the World Bank,
actually a UNO.
Let me also tell you, there is the World Bank, report for 2014.
Influx of people.
I'm coming now. Let me do the analysis for you.
And all of that.
You have, the World Bank report 2014. You have the World Bank report 2017. If you look at the poverty distribution, you find out that it is much more in the northeast because of the activities of Boko Haram, and then because of what is happening in that area, actually, trickling down to middle belt area. People are moving away from that, those zones and coming into this area, to put pressure on our facilities. And you get what I'm saying? I remember that there was, when I visited the church, Assemblies of God Church, there were so many people that came from Plateau State, to just find refuge there. And the church people had to look for a way of easing them out. And if they enter into, as they enter into our society, they put pressure on the facilities. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? That actually increased, the number of persons here, putting pressure on facility, reducing the, standard of living. That was actually what happened. But to tell you that specifically, Rivers State is among the very poorest, state in it. That is, really, political. It's neither here nor there. We have reports to show that in the northeast, you even have well over 50% of the people below poverty line. People that cannot afford 180 naira per day. Because the poverty line was taken at 180 naira, per day, in that study. The study was organized by our own MBS, but the study was actually written by, World Bank.
Now, Professor ONUCHUKWU, Rivers State is one of the states that produces oil, and this oil is sold in dollars. Now, don't you think that since the oil is sold in dollars, the oil producing state should also be paid in dollars? That way, the oil producing states will not complain about shortchanging of their revenue and all of that. What's your take?
Well, basically, you know that we run a federation system, and this kind of a federation system is, giving much concentration of power at the center. you don't allow the people, free access to, the resource which they find in their place. And each time we talk about this oil thing, I get very angry because, the Niger Delta, where this oil, come from, is highly marginalized in terms of, the kind of externality, negative externalities, that emit from, oil exploration. And even at that, what is given to us is not commiserable, to it. One can argue in that direction, but depending on how much you're paying, if you pay somebody $1, for a job of 100,000, it doesn't really make sense. So the idea is that we should be, taken care of in terms of ensuring that this part of the world is properly developed. Let me tell you the kind of politics they are playing recently that I don't really like. We have the Niger Delta Development Commission here, and now you're setting up the Northeast, Development Commission. From where is the money going to come from? And you have given them 10 million
from solid minerals.
You have given them 10 million.
Maybe the north is from solid
you are giving them 10 billion naira take-off grant. Where is the money coming from? It's from oil. It's why they just want to ridicule and water down what the NDDC should be doing for the Nigerian people. You see, federal government has not been very sincere, in looking at, development in the Nigerian Delta. If we even take it beyond that you see our young boys, that are in the creek, that were able to use firewood to cook crude oil to a particular temperature that will separate PMS from diesel, and we use them to run generator works. We call them illegal refinery and destroy them. You know that when they started, they were blowing up themselves, but at a particular time they started perfecting. And we just threw away that science and say they're illegal refinery. What are the science behind what they're doing? I keep saying that this all the time. Why can't we put down the research institutes, the universities together, to go and study what these boys are doing and see how they can be improved upon? And then this modular refinery thing will not come to play in the Niger Delta. If you have smaller refineries along the creek, one, you will increase the income level of the people and make their life better. Then two, it will also provide the product for us to consume. And the excess will be sold outside and will aim foreign exchange. And then three, militancy will reduce and we'll have peace. But nobody wants to look at that. What government is interested is how to use force to coerce the people in order to make temporary peace and then drill the oil and go and better the life of those people that are not from Nigeria. So anytime we talk about this issue, I talk with serious passion because federal government has not been very sincere to us. Even in terms of the allocation, to states. Even in terms of allocation to states. It's just that the body, the commission in charge of this allocation has their formula of doing it. But if you go down deep to look at how much is being, generated from River State and other Nigeria towns, so we should be taking more than half of what is coming out from oil.
No, we should take the money and pay them.
And pay them something.
So you are subscribing to the fact that we should be paid back in dollars, not in naira.
Well,
oil is sold in naira.
Well, if
in dollars, rather.
If they can pay us that, something that is not just paying in dollars. Like I said here, somebody can give you, a stipend with dollar. Are you getting what I'm saying? Can give you something that is meaningless with dollar. What we are saying here is that, apart from the payment, there must be a conscious effort to develop this area. And then even make us partial owners of the investment in this sector. I don't know whether I get what I'm saying. Because special owner of the investment in this sector. Look at Belema Oil is doing very well, an indigenous oil company. But they don't want to give them, chance to compete with other, oil firms.
Okay, we've been talking with Professor ONUCHUKWU, Director, Uniport Business School, and that of Barrister OSIMA, GINAH, Director, Legal Services, PDP Campaign Council. We'll be back from the short break and then make the program more incisive. Stay with us.
Stewardship with SNB.
Governor Wike said that APC is the party promoting violence in the state. He said the failure of APC is the reason why they resort to violence.
Take it as if you have stiff opposition and work because you have a stiff opposition. Don't go home and say, no, we win election because. Don't say, I don't like this senatorial candidate. Don't say, I don't like this House of Reps candidate. Don't say, I don't like this assembly candidate. Don't say, I want to vote for my person, for my ethnic group as governor. If you do that, even when that your ethnic group wins, you will never be recognized. And there's no other party that will win other than PDP in this state. So don't make that mistake. Any ethnic group that plays that game, you have yourself to be blamed. If you play that game, and I know that you will not win, and you lose, know that it will haunt you tomorrow. If you play wayo, you will receive wayo tomorrow. If you play wayo, you receive wayo tomorrow. If you support PDP, PDP will support you. That is the way it's supposed to be. God has decided that APC will not come back to rule Nigeria again.
The governor said with the inauguration, the campaign process has started. He urged all organizations and associations to unite and work for the victory of the party.
From now, the politics have started. Because Rivers State is a state nobody can joke with. And we must come on out with everything we have.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has flagged off Operation Deliver Your Word in 2019, directing all PDP members to ensure that the party wins in their communities. Rivers State Governor also inaugurated the State PDP Campaign Council with a charge to the council to deliver all PDP candidates during the forthcoming elections. Governor Wike spoke at the Rivers State PDP Campaigns Office in Port Harcourt during the inauguration of the PDP Campaign Council.
You must go back to your various units, your various wards and the local government level to work. And people must understand that. What I want you to do is to work for PDP in your own community, in your own ward. Because this time it's Operation Deliver Your Own ward. It's not for you to be here and then you lose your word. If you lose your word, your relevance here is not important. What is important to us is that you win your own word. And our campaign must be based on issues.
Governor Wike urged PDP leaders to work towards the total victory of the party, noting that the council is all-inclusive and aimed at ensuring that all PDP candidates emerge victorious.
In that spirit, what it means is that all of us should see ourselves as members of the People's Democratic Party. We are working together to make sure that everybody from the proposal candidate down to the assembly, that we make sure that they come out victorious in the 2019 general election.
Governor Wike further charged Rivers PDP members to work towards the overwhelming victory of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
We must deliver Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. We must do that. We must do that.
He added that the only opponent that the PDP has in the state are the police and INEC. He called on members to be vigilant and ensure they are not shortchanged by the two institutions.
For me, the only people who are contesting with is INEC and police. Those who are on election with us, INEC and police. If there's no party, no, not one, that said they are on election with us, there's no party. There's no party. So we are merely running an election against INEC and police. That's all. But God being with us, we will triumph. But you only triumph by you working hard.
Stewardship with SNB.
What do you do on a Thursday afternoon? Having lunch? Taking a drink? Watching TV in your living room or office? How much do you know about the politics, economy, and how monies are being expended by those saddled with the responsibility of managing human, material, and natural resources? It's daring, incisive, revealing, and informative. Watch Stewardship with SNB every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. on RSTV. Join us.
Well, if you have just joined us, you're watching the program Stewardship with SNB. My name is Solomon Nelson Braid, and my guests in the studio are Professor OKEY, ONUCHUKWU, Director, Uniport Business School, and Barrister OSIMA GINAH, Director, Legal Services PDP Campaign Council. Gentlemen, very recently, the state PDP constituted a statewide campaign council, and we saw the governor giving his charge, and he was talking very tough. What is the selling point of PDP going to election? Plus, what we can take away from the governor's speech. First, Okechukwu.
Well, the selling point of PDP, clearly, here in River State, is the performance of the governor. Because the governor has really shown that he is committed to what his social contract, with the people. You know that blueprint, he described it as his social contract with the Rivers people. And if you look at that, like I mentioned, between him and the Rivers people, and if you look at those projects, we outlined there one by one, and each of the sector, governor has, almost, fulfilled that. So that is the bottom line of the campaign performance. Performance is not something that that will come from the blue. You're seeing it with your eye. If we're talking about roads that have been built, you go there and see it. The Wimpy Road, you go and see it. The Akpaju little one, Wuju Road, you go there and see it. It's not something that somebody will tell you story that they have done a Niger Bridge. I mean, when you go there is nothing. But this one, you're seeing what the government has done. Telling you, look, we are transforming. You are going to build medical school in our own River State University. You go there, you see the medical school. These things are things that are, actually, written in the blueprint, and government has implemented them, almost 100%. So that is our selling point. That we're going back to the people. The governor will now tell them, look, this we say we are going to do, we have done. It's clear. They are on ground. So we are telling you we're also going to do this, with the confidence you have in us, we're going to even do more, if given the opportunity. I don't think we're going to have, difficulties in the governor is selling, the administration is selling the stuff in terms of...
Professor Somajina, what did you take away from what the governor said at the inauguration of the campaign council? Okay. You were a member of the campaign council. Yes, of course, a key member, the director of legal services. Yes, go on.
Well, in politics, if you listen to the governor, what the governor charged the members to do is to go and deliver all the candidates of PDP. Now, how do you deliver the candidates? Is to show to the people that promises were made and these promises were kept. And he's one man who made promise and will keep his promise. Take for instance, in 2015, we contested with Dakuku. Dakuku was commissioner for works. He never constructed the Unity Road. The Opobo and Donning Road was not constructed. And the governor went there and promised the people, I know you have your son, but please, if you vote for me, I will do this road for you. Today, you can drive to that place. In fact, the APC spokesman commended the governor that for the first time, he can drive to his own town. So that is a selling point.
Is this still the spokesman?
The Finebone.
Yeah. Is this still the spokesman?
Yes. Finebone. Okay. Finebone. That is APC spokesman in River State.
Yeah, the court sacked them.
While the presumed spokesman,
one of the spokesman,
the presumed spokesman,
that's a better language.
Yes,
we don't offend the fact of the court.
Yes, or the man we hear talking for
APC.
Okay. Yes. Now he himself, for the first time, commended the governor that he can drive home.
Yeah,
that is promise made, promise kept. Now, if you go to Professor Tandem West Road, that road was conceived by Odiri, former Governor Odiri. At the time when I was in the cabinet, the road was awarded, efforts were not made, And so not much was done. OKEY came. I said, I'm going to work on this road. I want to see why this road cannot be completed in 8 years. 8 years. And within 3 years, he completed the road.
And we can drive to the airport
with ease. That is promise made, promise kept. And these are our selling points. And like I said, if you go to so many communities, you go to Indoni, shop protection, he promised them. In fact, former Governor of River State, Dr. Odili, confessed that even as a governor, he couldn't do it. And so what is the magic? The magic is that when he made a promise, he followed it up. It's not one governor who go to his house and sleep and forget about the people. He sits down, he finished from his office in his home, he sits down and think about you and I. How our lives are going to be better from where we are. Our roads, I agree, roads cannot be constructed, all the roads in River State cannot be constructed in one day. I'm from Angloma community. I went to my people, our roads are not being constructed. I said, it will come to our turn. It is turn by turn. At least he's doing something in the local government area.
Yeah,
in every local government area, there is project. One project or the other. And because when he gets there, he promised the people, I will do this for you, and he will do it. That's our selling points. And when this project that we can outline to tell people that these are the roads, they are being constructed. I know, and because he's a man that he believes that when he said he would do one thing, he will do it. I will call it a man of positive change. You can change, you can see. You can feel the change. You can touch. If you go to the place, you say, yes, this road has been constructed. Yes, it is here. You can drive in. Before now, people used to say, he's painting roads, he's painting roads. But you and I see that he's not painting roads. The roads are there. They're being constructed. We're driving on the roads. There are no potholes in River State. And to show that the man is working. And so it's our selling points. And for that, the people of River State have come out to say, we want you for a second term. Take, for instance, the Calabar people agitating, we need a Calabar governor. That is part of the Calabar people, those who are in APC. But the majority of the Calabar people have come out to say, no, we need this governor. And that's why it is even the Calabar man that is the chairman of the campaign council. He's a Calabar man. I'm a Calabar man, Director of Legal Services. Dr. Winike Danagugo is a Calabar man, Deputy Director, Research and Planning. And so you see, we are on board to make sure that we return this man who made a promise and who keep his promise. The Abunima Ring Road was started by Odili. It was not completed. For 8 years of Amici, it wasn't done. But for three years of OKEY, it is 90% completed. 90% completed. And I think when you see a governor who is ready to work, who is ready to keep his promise, you will go extra miles with him. And that is why we're on board with him. And I think...
If you look at like what he said, he has mentioned some of the LGs. If you go to the HA area, you know the HA couldn't drive home from a Gruta at a particular time. But now you can coast well from a Gruta to HA. You know, and so people travel to Imo State and Abia State through that route because of, you know, the parts that River State government has, you know, actually done. Then within these local government, there are internal roads. If you go to Ishugbo, I was there when they promised the Ishugbo people was going to do the internal roads during the campaign. I did it. There. IBA is going on in my LG, MOI is going on, you know. So many other local government, I go to Ahoda, you know, between Ahoda and Omok. That road is going on. You understand what I'm saying? And even constructing a general hospital in Onega local government. So you see, the governor is touching every local government. And again, putting statistics clearly, you know, I know that well over 70% of our people will vote for Governor OKEY. Well over 70%.
Well, 70%.
Okay, like I'm just going for.
But Africa Internal Road, when Abiy Segubo spoke during commissioning, he said, as special assistant to governor, as secretary to government, as minister, such massive development was not done in this place. But within 3 years, the governor has opened up the place. Today they have internal road. Go to Kochuri, see. Now, these are people who tell people, their own people expect them to do things. They listen to them. And they say, look, we cannot do it. But this man have come to do it for us. And you know the economic hardship that we are. You know, when the vice president called him Mr. Project, if it were a PDP vice president, they would say it is politics. But he's a vice president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, produced by
the APC.
Produced by APC. He came, he saw what he saw, the massive development. He never believed. Because when you listen to the radio, you read the newspaper, the opposition will say nothing is going on. The governor is just painting rules. The governor is not doing anything. But when he came, in fact, I was there in Pleasure Park. You looked at it, I said, this one is an economic boost. In fact, in festive period, if you go and see the thousands of people in Pleasure Park, now that also tells you that the state is peaceful. Now, when you see a governor that has made the state comfortable for people to live, and that accounts for the influx of people coming into River State. If the state is not peaceful, people will not be coming. We'll be going, we'll be going out. So these are analysis to show that Rivers people are ready and they're going to vote for them. We will not say, do this, we are going to do this. No, assess us on what we have done. Assess us on the promise we made and that we have kept to those promises. And that's our selling point.
Okay, there were other issues the governor raised when we listened to that video clip. He was referring to some people, if you play wayo in English, it was code switching. If you play wayo, who were those people Governor was referring to?
Well, yes, to be candid, he refers to everybody. There's no specific person. You know, in the election, take for instance, as a Kalabari man, I might go in there and say, oh no, I want to vote for my Kalabari candidates. We have about 6 governorship candidates in that area. No, when it comes to House of Assembly, I'll vote for my brother. When it comes to governor, I'll vote for this. It's charge everybody. Because when you go there, you will not see your brother's name in the ballot paper. What you will see, People Democratic Party. That is what you will see. And as a party man, the party has recognized you. The party has identified you. The party has given you responsibility. And so go and deliver this party. Party politics, when you go, is interest. Now, for you to attract development to your area, you must support the government. If you are fighting against the government, you cannot ask the same government you fight against to come and develop their area. So it is a general charge to all of us to go and work to develop, to enable PDP win that election. It is not directed to a specific person, because if a particular person is not trusted, the person will not be appointed into the campaign council. I believe that everybody that is in that campaign council are well trusted Rivers men and women whom the governor knew that they are going to work. But you know, like a father cautioning his own son, please, when you go, do the right thing. And so it's a general statement. The governor has charged all of us to go and do the right thing.
I think the governor was very clear in that. You see, the issue is that we are all members of People's Democratic Party. So you should be a true party man. That no matter the candidate that is standing in for you in any position, you should support that candidate. And not a situation where, like OSIMA said, I vote for this candidate here, for this party, for this other party, I vote for this party candidate. No. You are voting for your party. And for you to exhibit that attitude of a true party man, you must ensure that you deliver your party in your area. So that is what the governor is emphasizing. Not a situation where it was okay for candidate A is my friend, is in PDP, I'll vote for him. For candidate C is another party, I'll vote for. No. What the governor is saying that every person standing election, you know, bearing the flag of PDP, you know, must be supported by all party members.
And don't forget, candidates don't win election. It is party.
Okay,
and that's why there's no candidate's name in any ballot paper.
But one thing that strikes me most in the governor's address is that he said the PDP in the state is not fighting with any other party. It's not contesting election with any other candidate or party.
Yes.
The party is contesting election with the INEC and the police.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah, what that means to me is when you take a look at what the security agencies and INEC did in the OSIMA election, in other states, in the Ekiti election, where the party, PDP, won clearly. But INEC and security agencies work against PDP, turn the result, and declare APC. We saw the runoff election in Port Harcourt constituency 2, and clearly you can see security agency aiding the party with INEC writing result in favor, turning result in favor of a particular political party. And that is what the governor is referring that if we are contesting with party A, we know that it is with party A. If you win, you are declared winner. But if we are contesting the election and security agencies will come and aid and abet that election in favor of a particular party, and INEC will also behind turn result to favor the political party, then it means that People's Democratic Party is contesting the election with the security agency and INEC. And it's a warning to security agencies and INEC. Please stay clear, be neutral, because we expect them to be neutral so that we can all go in and you see the result of the electorate, because the electorates are ready to vote and vote PDP, because in Rivers State, PDP is a household name. When you go, anywhere you go in Rivers State, what they know is People's Democratic Party. Once you call OKEY, it's People's Democratic Party. So what the governor has said is that, look, don't repeat what you did in Osun State. Don't repeat what you did in Ekiti State. And we tested them in the Port Harcourt constituency election to know what they are planning to do. And we said, look, stop there. And it's a warning to them that in this election, we are if you come to do what you have done before, then it means we are contesting with you. And the Electoral Act says political parties are the one contesting the election. And so INEC should not come and change results because they are not party. Police should not come and aid one political party and chase away electorates. And in some cases, they even watch to see which party you are voting for. And when they say that those who are coming are voting for PDP, they chase them away.
Time is not on our side. Very quickly, the incumbent governor Wike is contesting for election in the coming months or something. And then I want to ask, what are the differences between him and the other visible parties with candidates?
Well, obviously, like I said, you have to show what you have, you know, what you have done for your people, what you have done for your people, for people to say, I'm going to follow you. Governor Wike came in 2015, made promises, like we have said here, those promises are met. And Rivers people, again, in this his second tenure, will also judge him at the end of the second tenure to see whether he's going to keep the promise. So Governor Wike is different from other candidates because he has done it and we have seen it. And that is the basis for, you know, him asking for re-election.
Well, just to cap it up, he has been tested, he's been trusted, and Rivers people have confidence in him. And that they can put their trust in him and he will not betray it. We don't want to go and test somebody and say, let's see, all those who are coming say, test me, test me. But this man, we have tested him and he has never failed us. And so the man that we know that will not fail us, that's the man we are going to go with.
Okay, just before we close the curtains, this interview cannot be complete without asking this question. Now, the presidential candidate of your party, PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and that of the incumbent president on the other party are all septuagenarians.
Yes.
They are in their 70 years or something. Now, what would you say is the difference between Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and that of President Muhammad?
Well, Atiku Abubakar, everybody knows he's a Democrat. And you cannot compare a Democrat to a military man. Because he removed the uniform and put Agbada, it doesn't make a difference. Now, you see that in Muhammad Buhari government, freedom of speech itself is a taboo.
I'm sure there's a lot of force. There's a lot of force in governance.
It's a force in governance.
Force. You're using force in governance.
Well, in a democracy. And in democracy, you allow the people to freely express their wish. Look at what is happening to Dino Melaye. Now in River State, you have people that have been declared wanted by the police. You have people who the court had directed, please arrest them and bring them to court. The DG of Deleco campaign organization was declared by the court. Come and face your trial. The presumed chairman of the Deleco APC was declared by the court. Come and face your trial. But what the government is doing is to protect them with the same security that will bring them. Now, this is a senator, a service senator in the higher ranking legislative arm. You have gone to his house, you've cut off electricity, you want to take him by force without following due process. So you see that what we have is even a semi-military regime. But Atiku Abubakar, we have tried him and we have tested him and we know that he's a Democrat. Now what the Democrat does is that if there's a dispute, Igbo Jews, Igbo religion, that's what we say in law. He who has, if you have a case, you go back and seek for remedy. You go to the court and we respect courts. Now this is a regime that don't respect court orders. Several orders the courts has made, they didn't respect it.
Last one, you know, I think who is one man who is bringing to table what favors we the Nigerian people. He has been talking about the true federalism and seeing how, you know, restructuring of this great country, you know, can bring development to the various parts. So that is one thing, you know, that struck my mind, you know, to support him because he's looking at the minorities as an integral part of this, you know, country.
I'll be doing a disservice to your profession as a lawyer if I don't throw this question at you. Do you have, do you think that the judiciary can actually do their job in case elections end up in litigations? Oftentimes elections end up in litigations.
No, we know that it will end up in
litigation. You still have confidence in
No, very well, very well, very well. The judiciary is the last hope of the common man. The president himself too knows that if there is anything goes wrong, he will run to the court. A few years ago, our former governor Amechi locked up the courts. But as soon as the courts were open, he was the first to run to that same court. And then the judiciary is always there, and they're going to do their work. In fact, this regime has worked so hard that the judiciary is comfortable in terms of facilities, not comfortable in terms of politics because they are not politicians. But facilities were provided. You go to Court of Appeal, you have a new brown one. You go to the Federal Industrial Court, the State High Court, the Federal High Court. So judiciary is ready. It's ready to do their work.
And you know that but for judiciary, PDP would have gone to extinction.
Well, but for judiciary, PDP would have gone to extinction. That's the word from Professor ONUCHUKWU, Director, Uniport Business School. We've been talking to Professor ONUCHUKWU, Director, Business School, Uniport, and Barrister GINAH, former Commissioner for Urban Development, and now Director of Legal Services, PDP Campaign Office. And that's the size of our package this week and this new year. I want to thank you so much for being a part of it. And sincerely apologize for not being able to take one or two calls that came in. We know that you're still enjoying yourselves over there at the countryside. When we return back, we shall be good friends on this program. My name is Solomon Nelson Braid. Thanking my guest for being a part of this program.
Thank you very much.
Professor ONUCHUKWU and Barrister GINAH. And for my colleagues who have been present right buttons behind the camera, I want to thank you so much for doing what you know best. I am Solomon Nelson Braid, signing off.